In this episode, the same day that CPS came to my home, I was understandably irate. This was a provocation that I had not experienced. It went into my real world, was affecting my children and my life in a way that I found extremely disturbing and an escalation that I found very unacceptable. Let's see what Denham said about my children 3 days before CPS was called.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is
Yeah, zero evidence to back any of this up. This is bad empanada. He's one of the guys who definitely frequents or probably even posts on H3 Snark. Like, he has a weird obsession with Ethan and like trying to bring him down. He's just making this shit up and got zero evidence to back it up. And does Denham's ask for any of that proof? Or does everybody just take everything they say at face value and use it as a weapon against Ethan? Because it's not about the man, it's about the politics.
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it? Really sucked for you. You were so disappointed. The betrayal of one of your closest long-term friends, huh? Tick-tock, though, Ethan. Tick-tock, because this was just a taste. This was just a small part of what we have organized for you. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse, Mr. Klein.
I haven't seen this one yet. Jesus, this dude's a fucking psychopath. This is the guy that they listen to. This is their source of that information that they use to call CPS. Just let that sink in for a minute.
There's something that I've never talked about publicly, but around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home.
Holy shit! I did not know about the human skulls coming in the mail. Like, at what point does it cross the line from harassment into fucking terrorism? All right, so H3H3 did a live reaction to this on his podcast, but that went on for about 5 hours. And that's a lot of content to get through, so we didn't cover the whole thing. But we're in luck because it looks like on the H3H3 Productions official channel, he is decided to upload there again, and he's uploaded an official response to iDubbbz. It's only 15 minutes long, so we can get a more curated official response to iDubbbz's content cop here. We're going to fire this up. We're going to have a look at this. And then we're going to give some final thoughts on it and hopefully put a lid on this drama unless something crazy happens for the time being and move on to the next thing and be able to take a break from the H3 content for a little while. I don't like to get stuck on one drama for too long, but this one's kind of a big one. And all of our favorite players in the content space have been involved here. It's just been kind of a battle of titans. So let's have a look at his official response.
A few days ago, my good friend Ian, also known as iDubbbz, released a content cop about me. His video's over an hour long and it's full of a lot of accusations. We watched the entire video, every frame of it, responded to every accusation on the podcast in a really long episode. We watched the whole thing, so if you're interested in a more thorough response to everything, I would recommend watching this episode. The video that I'm making today, however, I don't need an hour for, because there's really just one central point that I want to make here. My good friend Ian, in his hour-long takedown, did not mention one time.
He didn't mention the CPS thing once. I'm expecting this just to be a rapid-fire, point-by-point debunking of everything. Yeah, I kept calling this out at the time, and I think it's what everyone called out, because it was an obvious thing, that they're just purposefully ignoring not just the CPS stuff, although I think that's going to be the focus of his video here. It's the fact that they just ignored any real-life consequence behind H3 Snark and the actions of all those trolls, those bullies. All right, after this, we're going to take a quick retrospective look at iDubbbz then versus iDubbbz now. Won't take but a minute.
Child Protective Services. Not one time in the entire video, he never says CPS. No mention, no explanation, no overview, nothing. Zero mentions of CPS. A few weeks ago, Child Protective Services showed up to our house at 6 a.m. to interrogate us about an anonymous tip they got that our kids were crawling around and eating dog shit at catching diseases. Ian spends the majority of his video characterizing me like a raving lunatic who's lashing out at everyone around me with zero provocation.
Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things Eventually he'll find peace and we can like rekindle our friendship. And I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
What he doesn't say is the majority of these clips he's using are taken from this episode.
Taken way out of context because he left out the context about them calling CPS on that episode. Yeah, when you add the context that he's responding and dealing with the fact that CPS just visited his house the day before, like he's in shock and awe that it's come this far. He's still dealing with this. When you take that, when you add that context, all the stuff he's saying, well, he doesn't look unhinged. Everything looks perfectly justified because that's beyond the pale. This is a normal person reaction to having CPS show up at your house on some fucking wild claims that there's dog shit everywhere and them taking it serious. Like, yeah, he's fucking floored, and he would be. In fact, he's probably more measured during most of this than most people would be, I feel, because I'd probably be losing my shit personally.
Now, does he ever show the title of this episode?
Nope.
No, he does not ever show the title of this episode. Snark called Child Protective Services on us. Not only does he not show the title, he doesn't explain why I'm upset, who I'm mad at, why I'm mad at them. Zero context. I am just an anonymous, screaming lunatic.
It's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years. And as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Who else? Who else do we want to burn today?
Who else do we want to burn today? You're making it so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground.
No, they're making it obvious that a line in the sand has been crossed, that a line has been drawn and then crossed, and now you have to fucking pick a side. Either you're on their side and you're not cool with this level of harassment, or you are cool with it, in which case they're burning the bridge because they're done with you. And that's perfectly acceptable. That's probably the exact reaction that I would have, is like, okay, well, anyone who's cool with this isn't cool with me. I feel like most people would probably do the same. Anyone who'd be cool with you calling, any parent probably wouldn't be cool with people who wanted to be friends with a group that was, dedicating their lives to calling Child Protective Services on their kids.
Horrible. This is not what podcasts are. There was a way to approach this to say like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack.
In this episode, the same day that CPS came to my home, I was understandably irate. This was a provocation that I had not experienced. It went into my real world, was affecting my children and my life in a way that I found extremely disturbing, and an escalation that I found very unacceptable. Now, why am I mad at Ian for this? Well, let's start here. Denims is someone he's accusing me of in his video of harassing. Let's see what Denim said about my children 3 days before CPS was called.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably...
Yeah, zero evidence to back any of this up. This is bad empanada. He's one of the guys who definitely frequents, or probably even posts on H3 Snark. Like, he has a weird obsession with Ethan and like trying to bring him down. He's just making this shit up and got zero evidence to back it up. And does Denims ask for any of that proof? Does everybody just take everything they say at face value and use it as a weapon against Ethan? Because it's not about the man, it's about the politics.
Probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know.
Covered. A fucking mansion covered in dog shit. Like, how big is this? Like, the amount of shit that would need to exist for a dog to cover a house that big with dog shit, just covering it. Just it's in every room. It's on every floor. It's on every surface. It's everywhere. It is covering this mansion that he lives in. This is like, just on its face, this sounds comical that anyone actually would believe this.
Know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something. But they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe one
Is this true? I mean, I'm not going to do anything to verify it. I'm just immediately going to treat it as if it was.
once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have Mold Mondays. Now we...
Yeah, I'm sure if you go looking, you can find a bunch of made-up stories about Ethan. In fact, you can find new shit about Ethan to whine about that someone made up every single day if you're going to H3 Snark every day. Way to self-report, Denims.
We have shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be A-okay.
She didn't take 2 seconds to Google this on stream, verify what it was, verify like what kind of damage it could do to the kid, how to just no effort whatsoever. She didn't like fuck reaching out to Ethan and like trying to verify by talking to the people involved. She didn't even like at least research the thing that they had or the claim being made. Just no 2 seconds needed to Google. Just immediately, yep, sounds true to me, and rolls with it.
No problem. A child, a small infant that has no immune system, shouldn't be catching anything.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit, and his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his crew, playing...
No wonder this motherfucker is always sick. Yeah, it all makes sense now. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is...
And just gassing up her chat, just letting them feed into it. It's this fucking cycle that they create. Parents of newborns are always sick because young children are always sick because young children are always getting sick. And then they bring it home and everyone else in the house gets sick.
How is this happening? How is it happening? How?
Because it's not.
How is this happening?
It's not happening. You just want it to be, so you're pushing a narrative. This is malicious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even make fun of people's weight. I've never made fun of people's weight. I do make fun of people's posture. If you're making an active decision that, like, you don't give a fuck about your health or your posture or your dog shitting all over the house to the point where your kids are getting Giardia, that's the image of someone who is not well. Wait, what? Wait, what, Dems? Wait, what? You guys didn't know about this? Yeah.
No one knew about it because he made it up.
Meth-Zempic diet. Oh, God.
Even after CPS was called, Denims attempted to justify it by claiming that it's okay because children can't be traumatized.
I don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3.
We Googled this on stream because there were some morons in my chat who believe this too, which, just tell the whole world that you're childless by showing your lack of knowledge about children. But I Googled it to prove it to them that children, they start developing memories that they can recall at around the age of 4, and emotional memories, meaning things that could cause trauma, like instincts, that kind of thing, start developing at around 2. Just so we're clear.
They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old.
Just, yeah, childless. Absolutely childless. And it shows.
Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff, but...
She's kind of right about the ability to recall memories, but emotional memories, things that come like an instinct, like getting burned by a hot stove, will make you instinctively hesitant to touch it, even if you don't remember the exact day and time you were burned. Yeah, those kind of things started around 2.
Even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15.
No.
You have
Also, yeah, memories don't have an expiration date. Like, if you can remember them, you can recall them. There are, like, instances of people in their 60s, 70s, 90s recalling things from their childhood as early back as 4 or 5, I think is what therapists have recorded.
have maybe 1 or 2 memories.
If you're wondering who the guy is she's watching, his name is Bad Empanada. And as far as harassment campaigns go, you'd think that Ian, as someone who cares so deeply about it, would be talking about him and not me. Here's a small taste.
I'd like to pay tribute to Ethan Klein and the new Twitch TOS that declares Zionism. Zion is the slur. I'd like to pay tribute to him by playing the first in Al-Aqsa video game where you kill Zionist soldiers as a Palestinian resistance fighter. Anyways, are these Israelis? They're just standing there? I mean, is the Israeli army a bunch of Ethan Kleins? Like, they're all on a fucking Ozempic binge. They don't understand what's going on around them. They haven't.
Yeah, they have to blur what he's doing. So in case it's not clear, he's in a video game cosplaying as murdering Ethan and his wife because they're Zionists. It's a kill the Zionist video game. I don't know, some Steam trash he found.
Notice me? Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now. Secretary got...
Here's Bad Empanada once again, who posted a story saying, I'm the one who called CPS on Ethan Klein. I want CPS to take his kids away because they are seriously endangered.
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it?
I haven't seen this one yet. Jesus, this dude's a fucking psychopath. This is the guy that they listen to. This is their source of that information that they use to call CPS. Just let that sink in for a minute.
Really sucked for you. You were so disappointed. The betrayal of one of your closest long-term friends, huh? Tick-tock, though, Ethan. Tick-tock, because this was just a taste. This was just a small part of what we have organized for you. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse, Mr. Klein. Every day, sit there just waiting in misery, in fear of what we have in store for you. Tick.
This man's a fucking psychopath. And this guy tells you that Ethan's the bad one, and you thought, yeah, checks out. This is the kind of shit he posts. This is the kind of stuff that they put on H3 Snark. Like, this is the level of harassment, bullying, and online trolling that this dude is fucking dealing with. He's just a dude trying to have a podcast and raise a family and but he doesn't agree with you on the Israel-Palestine conflict. So this warrants this level of dedication. This is beyond stalker behavior. I don't...
Talk goes the clock.
Maybe if he stops harassing other creators.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor.
Maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace.
House is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit.
And I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you.
I don't know.
H3 Snark. To be clear, he's speaking for H3 Snark. The ghost of H3 Snark speaks through iDubbbz now. He's their mouthpiece. He's become their puppet.
What they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something.
I was particularly angry during this episode entitled Snark Called CPS on Us because I hold denims to be one of the primary reasons, in my opinion, why CPS was called. Another one of their friends.
Yeah, it's real important because denims, simps, and the defenders of all this will say that she didn't say that she was okay with it. Yeah, she also didn't say that she wasn't. I know people were saying it in her chat. I think she might have said that she wasn't after the fact, but like before the call and people were talking about it and, you know, saying that CPS should be called. I think before they were called, they were saying they should be, and like At no point did she disavow and tell people not to. And then it happened, and people pointed at that from her chat, and she goes, "Well, I didn't tell them to call." And then she, like, I think the stream after the day after she found out that it actually happened, she then went on to stream to tell people, "You guys shouldn't do that." So she kind of walked back in order to cover face, but she didn't say it beforehand. She let it happen. That's why he's so mad, because she's the one platforming Bad Empanada. She's the one bringing this content to all their attention. And then she's going to stand there and say nothing while her chat says that CPS should be called. She knew it would happen, and she let it happen. That's why.
Friends, Froggy Tonic, had been spreading the same malicious rumor about me on Twitter for days before CPS was called as well.
I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. There would be an occasional Froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, you know? Like, I'm not gonna endorse it, I'm not gonna retweet it or like it, but fair enough. Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure.
Now let me show you the tweets that Ian conveniently omitted. Me when my 3 kids ask me why they haven't seen me in the past 4 months. I was in my basement. How can you shun a fallen fan when they worry about their 3 kids when they can't be bothered to protect their dogs? Ethan was neglectful with his dogs. He's already been neglectful with his kids, and he will continue to be. As a child of a neglectful, bipolar, narcissistic dad, that's precisely why I worry about Ethan's kids. I explained it on the podcast, but the truth of the matter is, it's all a lie. It's all wrong. The man is talking about my children. He's painting me as a terrible parent, a neglectful parent, and saying that he's, whose claim to fame is being iDubbbz's friend and former editor, is spreading malicious, damaging rumors about me that led to the CPS being called. Which, by the way, Ian does not explain one time. He did not mention why I'm angry at Froggy Tonic. He did not mention why I'm angry at Denims. He did not mention the name of the episode. He did not mention what the episode was about. He actually has a perfect opportunity to explain the CPS call, but watch what he does here instead.
Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit.
What other shit, Ian? Other shit is doing...
Yeah, that's the important bit. The other shit is the important bit. Speaking of bullying, I feel like I just bullied that guy and I killed him like 4 times in a row.
Doing a lot of heavy lifting, man. Now, why does this matter? Because Anissa was yucking it up with these guys during the period in which they were spreading this rumor and when the CPS call was made. The CPS call is central to understanding this story. You cannot tell this story without that context, and to try to tell this story without including that detail, it would be the most bad faith, cruel, gaslighting hit piece of all time. Unfortunately, that's exactly what he did. He convinced his audience that the reason that I'm mad, that I'm lashing out, simply because I'm a raving lunatic. I am crashing out. I'm just crazy and harassing his friends for no reason. And by the way, to my good friend Ian of 8 years, I really appreciate you weaponizing my mental health against me.
To make Ethan crash out. He's having a parasocial, weird crash out. People can have crash out moments. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help.
Someone who I've confided in over the years with my struggles with it, who understands what I've been through,
Yeah, this is the worst kind of betrayal. This is the worst kind of backstab. Is to have that friend that you confide everything in, then use all that stuff that you confided in them as a weapon to try and take you down. Like, the trust issues alone that have to come from that is to have this friend, oh, this is the guy I talk to. This is the guy I tell my secrets to. This is the guy I confide in. This is the guy who knows the worst of the worst that goes through my head. And then that guy goes, well, you made me mad, so I'm using all of that as a weapon. Oh, that sucks, dude.
Lengths that I've gone to work on myself and improve my mental condition, for him to throw that in my face.
It's for that reason that iDubbbz is the worst of the bunch here. Like, you expect this kind of behavior from the people that don't like Ethan and have never liked Ethan, but for him to make this turn, I mean, this is a Anakin turn into the dark side and Obi-Wan losing a brother kind of turn. Like, yeah. Just, I feel bad. This is why iDubbbz is the biggest piece of shit out of all of them.
Face to characterize anything I'm doing as crashing out, that I need help, that I need to get some kind of treatment, is cruel and pathetic on a level I didn't think he would ever be possible of doing. One ridiculous point he keeps hammering on is that I'm hating on him, I'm harassing him, simply because he's following people on Twitter.
We're not going to run to your defense.
We be following.
When, I don't know, we follow people? We be following. That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I, is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
I'm not upset, Ian, because you follow people. That is absurd. I'm mad because you are actively engaged.
It's fucking child logic. And it shows that Ian's malicious, because he's definitely smart enough to know that that's not the reason why he's mad. I mean, the guy confided in him. Like, you absolutely know why he's mad. You're using this childlike logic as a way to downplay the shit out of it, though. This is why he's the biggest asshole and the biggest piece of shit.
Engaging with these people on social media, in DMs, while this harassment is happening, seemingly indifferent to it, silent on it. In a sense, I felt like you were more on their side than my side.
Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out.
Our silence means something. That's exactly what we felt. Wow, it's almost like we were right about you. There's something that I've never talked about publicly, but around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home.
Holy shit! I did not know about the human skulls coming in the mail. Like, at what point does it cross the line from harassment into fucking terrorism? Like, can we call them terrorists now? Like, is it safe to call them domestic terrorists? Like, he's not being harassed anymore. He's being terrorized. He got sent human fucking skulls. Like, I'm assuming they're not real skulls, but Jesus. Like, if that's not a fucking threatening message, I don't know what counts. Like, there has to be, like, something legally you can do at some point. Holy fuck.
Which led us to having a very pleasant interview with the FBI. Things have progressed well past the...
Oh, so he did talk to the FBI. And it doesn't look like he's going to elaborate on that. Oh, man, hearing that might scare the shit out of Snark. Maybe they didn't take it seriously, or maybe they don't know about that part. I didn't know he had contacted the FBI. I mean, it's what you should. Like, at some point, you're crossing a line here.
Point of, that's just what the internet does. Ian had a recent revelation.
Yeah, we're past that point.
He's transcended into a new person.
He's
achieved nirvana and discovered empathy at age 32.
I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability empathy, and I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds...
You should be ashamed to admit that, because it sounds retarded and it makes you sound like a bad person. I mean, you are a bad person, but yeah, there's a couple times when you just let the mask slip. Really? You learned empathy at 30? No, it sounds like you learned to grift. Sounds like that's what happened.
It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32 I've acquired empathy, but...
32, not 30. Sorry. I'm not giving him any bit of grace here. I don't want to round down to make you sound better than you are. 32, you learned empathy. Empathy. And by that I mean you're grifting.
I have,
he learned how to grift.
And I've realized it because I just like can't help myself but like feel for other people's pain and suffering now. I'm still not perfect. I think that is, my empathy meter's only maybe like a quarter of the way filled up, potentially, but it's at least there.
In the spirit of it,
he makes himself sound like a sociopath, and he's skinwalking as a normal person who has empathy in order to garner a new audience. That's what's happening here. I mean, that's the grift. He might actually be a sociopath.
His newfound enlightenment, he had this to say.
I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it. The content I'm talking about specifically are content cop videos and videos where I was just generally criticizing people for very lackluster reasons, and obviously didn't have any accountability online whatsoever on my end. I was morally grandstanding and acting as if I am any better than any of these people that I was making content cop videos on, and I'm not. I'm a human, I'm a real human who makes mistakes, and I make a different set of mistakes than the people I was making videos on, but it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone deserves that level of cruelty or hate. It's also indoctrinated a lot of people into thinking that this is an okay way to behave. And it's not.
What happened? Am I so uniquely evil that you're willing to abandon your newfound principles?
What makes you different than all the other people that he did content cops on, and what makes you unique, which he may consider to be evil, is the fact that you're Jewish. It's because you're Jewish. Let's call a spade here. They don't like the Jews.
After what, less than a year? What is it that I've done, Ian, that makes me more detestable than any of the other people that you've content copped? And for what did you do this? To revitalize your dying career? This entire video reeks of desperation, of being thrown together, and poorly researched. I don't really even understand why they did this, and I can't imagine that it's going to be worth it. Thanks for the 8 years of friendship, buddy. Have fun with your new friends. A few days ago, my good friend Ian...
Okay, so there we go. That was it. That's the whole thing. Yeah, pretty much a goodbye letter to iDubbbz. It went about the way I thought it would go, but yeah, he just encapsulates the thoughts from the live reaction to it that we covered on stream. He's still being nicer than I thought he would be, honestly. I don't know how he's not more pissed. I don't know. Well, I guess because the more unhinged you would... God, it's like this weird minefield he has to fucking navigate, because the more emotion he shows, the more unhinged they're going to say that he is. Like, everything just ends up getting used as a weapon against him. These people are fucking... I hope that the FBI stuff goes somewhere, because Reddit also, like, he's leaving out the context about Reddit refusing to shut down Snark, because he went over that too. Like... Reddit shut down Hassan Snark. It's shut down Snarks from other people, but anytime he's tried to get H3 Snark shut down, they've said no. I think that I and him both think that the Reddit mod, that the Reddit admin, that one of them, or that one or more of them, may be frequenters of H3 Snark. Like, I don't understand this obsessive level of hate with Ethan in particular. There are way worse people online than H3H3, than a comedy podcast that occasionally makes bad jokes that offend you about a conflict that most of you have absolutely no actual involvement in. You've got actual no dog in that race. It's wild. Politics has broken people's brains. So let this be a lesson on online politics. Just try to disconnect. Don't get too emotionally involved. I can't count the number of people I've seen where I will be the first to say, I know nothing about the Israel or Palestine conflict. Don't ask me what side I'm on. I'm on neither. I don't care. I don't care which side wins. I just want them to stop fighting. Either ceasefire, whatever. I don't care. People smarter and more invested in this than I are going to have to be the ones to handle it. I don't care. I'm not getting involved because it's got nothing to do with me. I don't know anybody over there. I'm never going to go over there. I'm not related to anybody over there. Like, I literally don't have a dog in this race. So I'm staying out of it. Just like when two of your friends start fighting and they're related, like you're friends with two guys who are brothers and they start fighting, you're supposed to stay the fuck out of it. You're not supposed to take a side. So that's what I'm doing. Anyway, online politics has broken people's brains in general. Just learn how to disconnect to it. It's okay to discuss politics. It's okay to have that. To have those political discussions. But at some point, when you disconnect from the internet, you need to be able to disconnect from politics, because at the end of the day, there's real people behind those opinions, and there's more to those real people than their political opinions. A person is not a political opinion. They're probably a lot of things, and their opinions are probably nuanced. Just because they have the opposite opinion of you doesn't mean they have that opinion for the reason you think that they do. Back when I was growing up, there were 3 topics you didn't bring up at the dinner table: politics, religion, and finance, because those were all considered deeply personal. And religion and finances speak for themselves, but politics are also considered deeply personal because People have different reasons for voting for different people, different reasons for having an opinion on something, and everybody takes something different away from politics. You're not supposed to judge people based on it. That was the rule. That's what makes democracy work. And by people treating politics the way that they have since online politics became a thing, where everything's out in the open and it's the only thing anyone seems to care about, this is how democracy breaks down. I hope something comes of this. I hope they get shut down, or I hope some arrests are made. I hope he's able to make an example of somebody, because these guys are unhinged and they've been allowed to go unpunished for too long. And since the people who control the internet spaces that they're in won't punish them, normally I don't want to see the law punish people for online stuff, but this is one of those times where, well, it's going to be on online. It's gone into the real world. Yeah, there needs to be some punishment. A line needs to be drawn. And if the platforms won't do it, then the law should. So to cap things off, we got a video showing iDubbbz before, during the time when he was friends with Ethan, versus now, and the things that he believed, and to show that Ethan hasn't changed. He's been the same person he was when iDubbbz was friends with him. It's not like iDubbbz had some epiphany. It's not like he'd been enlightened and they showed him the evil, his new group of friends opened his eyes to Ethan. No, Ethan hadn't changed. He's been the same fucking person. The person that did change was iDubbbz. And yes, they'll openly admit that. Oh, he's grown. He's changed. I'll agree with you. He has grown and changed, but he's not for the better. Growth is that's even a subjective term. Growth doesn't always mean better. Hell, a tumor's a fucking growth. And that's what these people have become to Ethan. A fucking tumor that he has to deal with. Alright, there you go. This is just a 30-second clip showing how much iDubbbz has grown. And that karma that Frogan has been talking about.
Straight off the bat, I want to let all the newcomers to my channel know that I'm perfectly fine with bullying. Make fun of someone because they're fat, autistic, or riddled with acne. I don't care. Make fun of them. I think my only stipulation with the bullying is that you also have to not be a pussy. You know.
Yeah. He was based back in the day. This is, in case you guys are new to the internet and don't know why iDubbbz is famous, that's why, because he was that guy who pulled no punches and was fine with all that stuff as long as you had a justified reason for it, and, you weren't a pussy, that you could just be honest. Fast forward to today, and we have...
I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Eli. It's really hard to be, a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
Straight off.
Yeah, so bullying's okay until it happens to me. Yeah, so now he's just 180'd on all of his beliefs, his morals, his principles. Sorry, I slapped my microphone. He's 180'd on everything that he used to be. Again, Ethan hasn't changed. iDubbbz did a 180 so he could get in with the leftist crew. I don't know if it's for clout. I don't know the motivation behind it. Everyone's going to scream clout. I feel like he had enough clout, but then again, he's watched his audience die after disavowing this stuff. So maybe this has been the plan all along. It's hard to say what his motivations and reasons are now. I don't want to blame it on his girlfriend, because it looks like she did a 182. If you go back and watch her older content, she had base takes like this back in the day when she looked like a normal person who wasn't covered in tats, and she disavowed being a Muslim, which is another thing that Frogan is like, oh, well, he has a Muslim wife. No, his Muslim wife disavowed and said she wasn't Muslim and why she's no longer a Muslim, why she left long before her and Ethan got together. And it looks like they've just slowly changed together over time. I'm not sure if it was her feminism or if it was or if it was his reaction to his audience. Something changed them, and that change aligned them more with Hassan and his crew, which made him incompatible with Ethan. And that's what led to this fallout. Ethan's not evil. Ethan didn't change. iDubbbz did. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching this video. So that's the reaction. I thought he'd go a little harder than he actually did, but... we do these live streams every single night, starting at around 11 p.m. It's not always drama stuff. Sometimes, it's comedy stuff or real life stuff we react to. Sometimes we just play video games. Sometimes we do viewer call-ins or debates. We try to keep things interesting here. So be sure to stop by, become part of the community in order to get in on all of that. Discord is where the community's at. I'll try to leave links in all the description. But thanks for watching this one. Twitter will let you know when I go live. Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Let me know what you think of how I'm doing here. I'm a new YouTuber. I'm learning as I go. Don't expect it to be the most nuanced or best takes on the internet. I'm just a normal guy who decided to do this as a hobby instead of rotting my brain watching Netflix all day like everyone else does. So I decided to do something a little more engaging. Anyway, if you enjoyed engaging with me, let me know. Leave it in the comments and like the video. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.